What comes to mind when you think of a limit in mathematics? Is it a boundary, a stop sign, the end of the road? Well, in a way, you're not far off. A limit, in mathematical terms, is like a destination. It's the value that a function or sequence approaches as it gets closer and closer to a certain point. Let's imagine a function, a mathematical relationship between two sets of numbers. Now, let's say we're interested in what happens to this function as we approach a certain value. Here's where the concept of a limit comes in. A limit tells us what value the function approaches as it gets closer and closer to the point of interest. For example, consider the function fx equals 1 over x. As x gets closer and closer to 0 from the right side, the value of fx increases without bound. Hence, we say the limit of the function as x approaches 0 from the right is positive infinity. But limits aren't just about functions, they apply to sequences too. A sequence is a list of numbers that often follows a specific pattern. The limit of a sequence is the value that the terms of the sequence approach as they continue indefinitely. For instance, consider the sequence 1, 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, and so on. As we progress further in this sequence, the terms get closer and closer to 0. Therefore, we say the limit of this sequence as it continues indefinitely is 0. But why do we care about limits? Why do they matter? Well, limits are foundational to calculus, the branch of mathematics that deals with rates of change and accumulation of quantities. They help us define the derivative, which measures the rate at which a quantity is changing at a given point, and the integral, which measures the accumulation of quantities. In real-world applications, limits are everywhere. Engineers use them when designing structures like bridges and skyscrapers. Scientists use them in modeling population growth or the spread of diseases. Economists use them to predict market trends. To summarize, a limit is a mathematical concept that tells us the value a function or sequence approaches as it gets closer to a certain point. It's a fundamental idea in calculus and has a wide range of applications in various fields. So, next time you think about a limit, don't just see it as the end of the road. Instead, view it as a destination, a point that a function or sequence is striving to reach. Because in mathematics, a limit is not just about where you can't go, but where you're headed.